Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate, Mohandas Pai, chairperson of Arin Capitals, Priyank Kanungo, NCPCR chairman, Abbas Haider, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Lokesh Jindal of the Congress. But my first question goes to Dr. Pavan Rao Ambedkar, national spokesperson of the AIMIM. And Dr. Ambedkar, I want to ask you, what in this survey scares Mr. Owaisi so much that he thinks this is all about a mini NRC? ऐसा क्या है इस survey में? If teachers are found out, whether madrasas have teachers or not, if these schools are affiliated to proper boards, state or central boards, and whether children are getting proper subject training or not, what is so scary for Mr. Owaisi that he thinks this will actually be a mini NRC?
Madam Navika, we are not scared. We are finding what is the intention behind this government issue. The main point is that the CM of the Assam has said intention. What is the intention? Why he is not looking all the institutions beyond the madrasa institutions or beyond the madrasas? Why he is not looking? From where Yati Narsinganand has come, from where the people who have created the religious hatred in Haridwar, in Raipur, in Jantar Mantar, from where they have got the education. Why he is not intending these institutions? Why only the madrasas? That's why we are circulating, we are telling that this is the situation where the constitutional provisions are not going to be followed. The constitution provisions of this country said, Article 26, Article 28 tells about the private religious institutions which can be run by a group of religious persons. Article 28 said, freedom as to attendance at religious instructions or religious worship in certain educational institutions. What it said, this article permits the educational institutions that are maintained by religious groups to disseminate religious institutions. So we are telling about the religious groups. In the same manner, some religious groups are running the Ved Pathshalas. About hundreds of the Ved Pathshalas are unrecognized, unauthorized. Still they are running in Uttar Pradesh. Why the government of Uttar Pradesh is not giving the order of survey to these institutions? Why? This is the question. That's why we are asking the people and we are calling the government, come forward and give the order for the survey of this Ved Pathshala institutions which are unauthorized.
Mr. Mohandas Pai, is Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi really worried about the fact that an NRC is coming in? Because the government has made no such reference, in the recent past, even mentioning the word NRC. Or is Mr. Owaisi really worried that Muslims may actually come out and vote for Modi because all the schemes of the Modi government are religion neutral? These schemes, whether it is Garib Kalyan Yojana, whether it is the Ayushman Bharat, or whether it is the Kisan Samman Nidhi, all of these schemes do not ask you what your religion is. So is that the worry for Mr. Owaisi, or does he really want to keep the Muslim children, 1.1 crore of whom, according to the NCPCR report, are out of schools? And he doesn't want them to be educated because then they will continue to remain a captive vote bank for these Muslim leaders. You're on mute, Mr. Pai.
Navika, you're very right. The Muslim community sadly has become the poorest community since 1950 because of leaders like Owaisi, parties like the AIMIM, Badruddin, etc., who take pride in making sure that do not get a good education and they cannot come up in life and the economy is growing. Let me give some data. Let us look at college data. SC population is 16.6% of India. They make up 14.8%. of students in college. ST is 8.8, 5.8% of students. Backwards of 40% of population, they make up 36% of students in college. Muslims are today 15% of population, only 5.2% of students in college. They're the poorest community. They don't get access to good education because they're poor, and leaders like Owaisi and others take pride in making sure they don't get good education by forcing the poor to go to madrassas where they don't get a good quality education take up in life. The quality of education in madrassas is not suitable for today's life. Yes, they must get religious education. They have a right. They can go there. But the religious education cannot substitute the need for a secular education too, as given to all children in school. If you look at the school dropout rate, you look at the school enrollment rate, the Muslim community lags behind. They need access to good schools. Now we have the Right to Education Act, which says that every child should get access to 8 years of good schooling. Now, if the government of Uttar Pradesh wants to make a survey of all these unauthorized madrasas and make sure that they get a report and then decide what to do, what is wrong? They're going to make a study. Let them make a study. Let the data come out in the public. And if the data comes out in the public, let the government decide. If these people who protest don't like it, let them go to court.
What will the government
now, all these people are saying that we should not even think, we should not even get the data. They're anti-children. They're against the Muslim community coming forward, and they're against the Muslim community getting good education. And Navika, let me give you one more data, Navika. Young Muslim people want a college education, want a good education. The enrollment in college has gone up by 7.7% a year from 2011-12 to 2019-20. It is going up. There is an aspiration, but these people are keeping them backward.
Absolutely. And India is a country where the aspirations of the youth is the defining part of India. And I want to ask Mr. Abbas Haider. Mr. Abbas Haider, there is a Right to Education Act that was passed in 2009, and your party was part of supporting the UPA government when this act was passed. And this act, after it, Article 21A was inserted through the 86th Amendment in the Constitution. This act says that children have to be given education, and to give the education, which is a fundamental right to children between the ages of 6 and 14, the government needs to fulfill the promise by checking whether that education is being imparted in the manner it should be or not. Now, if that requires a survey to be done, my friend, what is the problem? Where is the problem? How does Mr. Owaisi understand from that this is, a stepping stone towards the government banning even reciting of the Quran or, worshipping in the manner in which the Muslim community does? Why is he spreading all of these fears amongst the Muslims in India?
There is contradiction in the government statement, Navika ji. Government of Uttar Pradesh have already said that they are going to stop any grant to upcoming new madrasas. So now, if they are doing survey of unregistered, unrecognized madrasa, is the government going to give grant to those madrasa? Is the government going to take back its earlier order, which stated the adversely? So my point is, madrasas in Uttar Pradesh, they give education to very poor students who don't even have means to go to a school. And we have seen the schools in Uttar Pradesh. There have been 50,000 schools which have been shut in the country in past 8 years. We have seen how schools in Uttar Pradesh have become stable for animals. I mean, the picture which has come up last month. Now the Uttar Pradesh government, they just want to divert public attention. I mean, if you want to contribute something, if you really want to modernize madrasa, you must be having a plan, roadmap. Why don't you come up with that? Why don't you tell people that you are going to do this for the madrasa? No, they don't want to do anything. They even don't have given 4 years of honorarium which was given to the madrasa teachers in Uttar Pradesh. This is what the state government have been doing, and they are just trying to make it a political issue. They are just trying to mix this with religion. See, there have been non-Muslim students who have got education in madrasas even today in western part of Uttar Pradesh and different part of Uttar Pradesh, the Hindu students are getting educated at the madrasa. There is a theology. Theology is one of the subject in madrasa, but madrasa nowadays is imparting modern education. This is a reality. We have seen people like Dr. Rajendra Prasad and Munshi Premchand who have got educated in madrasa. So it's time we should not see madrasas with a particular type of lens.
Munshi Premchand may have got education. We've come a long way since then. We are in the 75th year of our independence, and today children definitely should have more aspirations of modern education and computers, and be connected to the world. But since you're talking about the sad state of situation in schools, let me show you this particular viral video last year, in September last year, which came from a so-called unauthorized madrasa in Aligarh. It's about what? 100 kilometers, less than 100 kilometers from Delhi, and this is the this is the video that came from that madrasa. Children chained, and in this particular video you can see the chains on the children who are in the madrasa, and this was less than 100 kilometers away from Delhi, but because the walls have been erected so high figuratively, nobody is allowed to peep in. The administration cannot ask questions. And I want to ask you, Abbas Haider, with a degree of responsibility. If you want children, and for me there are no Muslim children, there are no Christian children, there are no Hindu children, there are no Buddhist children. Children are children. And if you've been a parent, just like I've been, you would know that if you do not impart knowledge to children, if you do not put them on the right track with the right education, you can actually have them coming down from the track and going into different directions. I'm just asking you, as a responsible citizen, as a responsible parent, as a responsible adult citizen of this country, I want to ask you, do you not want that all children should have good education, proper education?
No, I want every student to have the best possible education. But the problem is, where there is no school, these madrasas are imparting education to those children. And I have a very simple point. When the government has already said that they're not going to give any grant to new madrasas, then why is the government doing survey when they are not going to help these madrasas in any form?
The be all and end all of life is about grants, about money. You do not want the government to check whether the children are actually chained in the madrasas. Isn't the psychological situation, the environment, whether there are teachers or not? I mean, there are private schools, and I want to bring in Priyank Kanungo of the NCPCR. Priyank Kanungo, is everything only about the grant, the aid, the finances, or private schools and private madrasas? Should both of them have equal amount of control of administration, so that there is governance, and so as there is standard knowledge that is imparted to children? Why is everything being made out to be just a financial support?
देखिए, मैं आपको एक बात नविका जी बड़ा स्पष्ट कर दूं कि जैसा आपने शुरू में कहा,
please hold on and listen to the experts.
86th अमेंडमेंट जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का है, जो आर्टिकल 21A के तहत बच्चों को 6 से 14 साल की उम्र में मुफ्त एवं अनिवार्य शिक्षा का अधिकार देता है, वो ये साफ साफ कहता है कि फंडामेंटल एजुकेशन राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट के तहत होगी। ये बात बड़ी स्पष्ट है। अब आर्टिकल 21A प्रिवेल करेगा आर्टिकल 30 पे। उसका कारण ये है कि आर्टिकल 21A अबोध मासूम बच्चों का अधिकार है, जिनके अधिकारों की कस्टोडियन सरकार है, और सरकार की ड्यूटी है कि उनको फंडामेंटल एजुकेशन मिले। इसलिए सरकार अपनी ड्यूटी पूरा करने के लिए मैपिंग करेगी, सर्वे करेगी, और ये रिकमेंडेशन NCPCR ने की है। हमने खुद ने मॉनिटरिंग अथॉरिटी की अपने मैंडेट को पूरा करने के लिए जब देश भर में जानने की कोशिश की, हमको पता चला कि 1 करोड़ 10 लाख बच्चे उन मदरसों में पढ़ रहे हैं जहां ये पढ़ाया जाता है कि सूरज पृथ्वी के चक्कर लगाता है, जहां ये बोला जाता है कि अगर लड़कियों की उम्र 14 साल हो गई है तो उन्हें ऐसे स्कूल से निकाल लीजिए जहां पे मेल टीचर्स पढ़ाते हैं। ये सब एविडेंस है और रिपोर्ट में है। और यहाँ पे पैसे वैसे की बात तो आप बिल्कुल है ही नहीं। आप देखिए SPQM स्कीम जो है उसमें, जिसमें मदरसों को ग्रांट दी जाती है, उसमें कुछ सैकड़ों करोड़ रुपए सरकार खर्च करती है, क्योंकि इससे ज़्यादा ग्रांट लेने वाले लोग सामने ही नहीं आते। ग्रांट मदरसे 3 तरीके के देश में हैं। एक मदरसे वो जो ग्रांट लेने आए उन्हें ग्रांट मिली, वो रिकॉग्नाइज्ड मदरसे हैं। एक मदरसे वो जो ग्रांट लेने आए लेकिन ग्रांट ना मिल सकी, वो अनरिकॉग्नाइज्ड हो जाते थे। अभी जो सबसे बड़ा काम किया है सरकार ने, वो ये बताया कि एक तीसरी कैटेगरी है अनरिकॉग्नाइज्ड मदरसों के अंदर जो अनमैप्ड है, जो ना सरकार के पास गए ना सरकार उनके पास आज तक पहुंची। तो जहां तक हम पहुंचे नहीं हैं वहां पहुंचने का ये प्रयास है। ये 1 करोड़ 10 लाख बच्चे किन विकट परिस्थितियों में रह रहे हैं, मैं आपको उसकी एक बानगी देता हूँ। मदरसों की जो बैलेंस शीट का रिकॉर्ड होता है उसे रुदाद कहा जाता है। हमने अपने सर्वे के, अपनी स्टडी के दौरान कुछ रुदाद का जो डेटा था वो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट करके पढ़ने की कोशिश की। उसके अकॉर्डिंग पिछले 3 दशकों में इतना डिग्रेडेशन आया है। 3 दशक पहले जहां मदरसों में जो कमाई, जो इनकम होती थी, उसका 60-70 से 80% तक बच्चों के खुराक और बच्चों के रहन सहन पे खर्च किया जाता था, वो घटकर 50% से नीचे आ गया है। और ये सरकारी इमदाद जो केवल सैकड़ों करोड़ की है, इससे इनका कोई वास्ता नहीं है। मैं आपको फंड का असली खेल बताता हूँ यहाँ पे, जिसके लिए बदरुद्दीन अजमल साहब जो अभी बोल रहे थे, बदरुद्दीन अजमल साहब के खुद के मदरसा जो अनरजिस्टर्ड ऑर्फनेज की तरह वो चला रहे थे आसाम में, जब हमने वहाँ पे इंस्पेक्शन किया, आप यकीन नहीं मानेंगी, वहाँ पे बच्चों को गाय को ज़िबा करना सिखाया जाता था। वहाँ से 250 बच्चों का डेटा गायब मिला। अल कायदा से संबंध रखने के आरोप में जिस NGO को टर्की की एजेंसीज ने जांच किया था, उस एजेंसी को बच्चों का डेटा भेजा जा रहा था और करोड़ों रुपए की फंडिंग वहाँ से आ रही थी। असदुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब जो बात कह रहे हैं, खुद को संविधान का बड़ा मर्मज्ञ बताते हैं, ज्ञाता बताते हैं, वो ये बात साफ करें कि अबोध बच्चों का संवैधानिक अधिकार सरकार नहीं देगी तो कौन देगा, जबकि कम्युनिटी फेल हो गई। कम्युनिटी इस मायने में फेल हो गई, ईद उल फितर पे फितरा की रकम जो डोनेशन के रूप में मदरसों को जाती है, बड़ा हिस्सा मदरसों को जाता है, गरीब से गरीब मुसलमान देता है, 1000 करोड़ है। ईद उल जुहा में जो जानवर सेक्रीफाइस किए जाते हैं, उनकी जो स्किन होती है, खाल होती है, वो मदरसों को डोनेशन में जाती है और उसकी कीमत लगभग 1000 से 1200 करोड़ रुपए है। अगर हम बेयर मिनिमम पर काउंट करते हैं तो 8 से 10,000 करोड़ की ज़कात जो देश में इकट्ठी होती है, उसका एक बड़ा हिस्सा मदरसों को जाता है। तो ये जो बड़े बड़े लोग कौम के रहनुमा बनते हैं, उनका असली इंटरेस्ट कौम के इकट्ठे होने वाले इस पैसे में है, बच्चों में इनका कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। क्योंकि अगर ये बच्चे पढ़ गए, अगर ये देखिए, ये भारत में अम्बेडकर जी से लेकर के
very important point being made there by Mr. Kanungo. Mr. Kanungo has made a very important point. Ishkaran, before I come to you, Mr. Ambedkar is raising his hand. Mr. Ambedkar, क्या खेला यही नहीं है, असल में सब पैसे का खेला है?
नो, मैं प्रियांक जी के एक सवाल का जवाब देता हूँ। प्रियांक जी ने बहुत ही बेहतरीन एनालिसिस की है मदरसा पर। अब मैं आता हूँ एक बिंदु पर। इन्होंने बताया कि आर्टिकल 21 प्रिवेल करेगा आर्टिकल 30 पर। आर्टिकल 28 क्या कहता है? मैं इसीलिए कह रहा हूँ आर्टिकल 26 और 28 को पहले क्लियरली पढ़िए, तब जाके एनालिसिस पूरी होगी। दूसरी बात, इन्होंने फंडिंग की बात कही है। इस्कॉन एक सबसे बड़ा यहाँ इस देश में जो है संस्थान है, जहां पर एक्टिविटीज होती हैं, आप उनको भी देखिए। मैं बार बार दिखा रहा हूं कि प्रियांक जी इन 100 वेद पाठशालाओं का भी विश्लेषण कर लीजिए। उत्तर प्रदेश में ही है, पूरे देश में आपको जाने की जरूरत नहीं होगी। इनको फंड कौन करता है और कहां से फंड आता है, इसके बारे में भी एनालिसिस करिएगा, तब एनसीपीसीआर की जो है ना रिपोर्ट पूरी नजर आएगी। आपने कहा कि क्वालिटी एजुकेशन, डेफिनेटली वी वांट द क्वालिटी एजुकेशन। क्वालिटी एजुकेशन अगर आपको देखना है तो उत्तर प्रदेश के जौनपुर में जाइए। 4 दिन पहले की घटना है जहां पर टीचर कहता है तुम जैसे को हम पढ़ाएंगे नहीं। ये क्वालिटी एजुकेशन है। अगर और आपको जानना है तो और भी आप देखिए उत्तर प्रदेश में
असंवैधानिक आपने बोला। आई एम सॉरी, यू कैनॉट यूज दैट वर्ड ऑन अ नेशनल चैनल, मिस्टर Pavan Rao Ambedkar. I'm sorry, on a national channel when you sit and use such words which are absolutely unconstitutional. You only want to incite. On one hand you want to incite, on the other you want to spread fear, and that is the only agenda that is being served here. Mr. Pavan Rao Ambedkar, I'm sorry, you have to apologize. You cannot repeat that. If there is a viral video, I don't know if it is authenticated or not, you cannot repeat such a word on a national channel, Mr. Ambedkar. Either you apologize or take back your words, because I cannot allow this. I don't want to hear any unverified video, my friend. I will not allow you to run an unverified video on air, Mr. Ambedkar. Mr. Ambedkar, your attempt is to incite, and I will not give you a platform to incite anybody here. Please lower his fader till he decides, and you can let me know when he decides to apologize for the word that he has used. But lower his fader. I want to get in Ishkaran Bhandari. For them, everything is political and everything has to be divided into some religious issue. I'm saying here, isn't this about children? Are children to be looked at as Muslim children, Hindu children, Buddhist children, Christian children, or are children and their futures to be secured by a nation 75 years after its independence?
Navika ji, constitution that is being read, I hope we had read it fully, because under public order, health, morality, certain regulations can be passed. So let us be very clear on that. What you are showing, children in chains, definitely comes under that category. But let's leave that aside for a second. There is an extremely dangerous ecosystem in Bharat which believes that the law of Bharat don't apply to them. Whether it be in Jammu Kashmir that they will get protection of Article 370, or whether it be if the Supreme Court passes a Shah Bano judgment, they will get it overturned when the government is favorable, or whether it be that the schools in Karnataka cannot decide what uniform should be universally applicable to students, or whether it be when the government wants to uplift the status of women and prevent triple talaqs, which is a practice banned in most countries of the world, then also the same card comes in, or whether it be in Assam, where state was funding madrasas which were doing religious teaching, wholly barred, and Himanta Biswa Sarma as the education minister piloted the bill, then as the chief minister implemented the bill, which was upheld by the Honorable High Court. Incidentally, the school uniform issue also upheld by the Honorable High Court of Karnataka. So let us be very clear what we are dealing with here. There is an ecosystem which has started believing that the laws of Bharat do not apply to them, that there is a special exception carved out for them under which they cannot be regulated. There can be no legal argument which says an institution which has thousands of students studying in it cannot, at the very basic, be surveyed by the government to see whether the education is modern, to see whether the teachers are fit and qualified, to see what sort of activities are being carried out. Forget even education. Every aspect of life in Bharat can be surveyed by the government of India or the state concerned. To object to mere survey, mere research shows they are very, very scared what an official survey will bring out. Otherwise, they should have showcased that we are doing such a great system of education. Everybody should follow it. What is there to hide? Why are you running away from a survey?
Mr. Ambedkar, I'm happy to have you in the debate, but I cannot allow that until and unless you apologize for making a statement and uttering a word which cannot be uttered. The law of the land does not allow you to utter that word. If you are willing to apologize,
it means all the teachers of that school will be punished.
Should I first have to begin with you?
No.
You can file file an FIR against all of those teachers. There is no place on this panel for any conditionalities, Mr. Ambedkar. There is no space for any conditionalities, Mr. Ambedkar. You apologize to the viewers of Time Now, and then you can go and file an FIR. You can go and file an FIR if you think that video is an authentic one. I am not going to give you a platform, Mr. Ambedkar. Are you apologizing? Yes or no?
I am asking to Mr. Priyank, have you analyzed this type of issue?
Can you apologize first before I allow you to ask anybody any questions, Mr. Ambedkar? Just apologize. It's not a word that should be used in today's world.
Why that people are using in the institutions.
अगर कोई कुएं में कूदेगा आप कूदेंगे साथ में. अगर कोई गलत करेगा तो आप साथ में गलत करेंगे. If somebody is going and murdering, you will also go and murder. What is that kind of an argument, Mr. Ambedkar?
This is not my word. This is not my word.
If it is not your word, on this panel it was used by you. It was used by you, Mr. Ambedkar. Apologize, come into the debate and do your exercise of filing an FIR outside of the channel. But you cannot...
Madam Navika, I am telling the reality why the Mr. Priyank has not analyzed this type of issues.
One minute, Mr. Ambedkar. Since you have not apologized, I'll still keep you out. Lokesh Jindal. Lokesh, I'm surprised. Nobody on the panel thinks that utterance of this word should at least the minimum the man can do is give an apology.
No.
I mean, Mr. Jindal, do you think such a word should be uttered on a national television channel?
The context within which this word was uttered has to be understood before we can
context
generalize.
is fine, but we
also need to understand on which what was the overall issue in which
can we repeat if the context is bad. Can we repeat? Can we repeat the word? Yes or no?
I would still say that we need to understand the essence.
My friend, we understand the context, but can you use the word? Can you use the word, Mr. Pai? Mr. Pai, I can't understand that the Congress spokesperson actually is in a double mind. About the usage of this word?
No, what I'm saying is, let the gentleman come out clear as to what was his intention and in which context he stated it.
My friend, any intention, intention will allow utterance of such a word on a national television channel debate like Times Now. I'm sorry. I'm not so broad-minded and neither is the law.
Why are you not talking about this issue? Why are you not talking about why the
Mr. If it's true, you have shown a viral video. I am in no position at this point to authenticate the video and understand the context. Please, Mr. Ambedkar, I'm sorry. Lokesh Jindal, my question to you here is, please lower the fader of Mr. Ambedkar, Nizam Bhai. Please, 1 minute. Unless he decides to apologize, I cannot allow this. Mr. Lokesh Jindal, we may appreciate the context and we may understand that something wrong has happened. We have your political parties, you can go and file an FIR and there are courts to take this. If you're sure that is an authentic video, you're well within your rights to go and file a criminal complaint. And I'm with you on that. But you can't sit here and utter such a word, and especially when we are talking about 1 crore and above Muslim children being kept out of school, kept out of formal education as stated by the NCPCR report of March 2021. It's a serious question. It's a serious question because this community has seen children being behind other communities, behind the national average. They are lagging. If attention is paid to them, and Mr. Kanungo made a very important point. He said that these are the third category of the madrasas to which the states have never reached. They exist, without any mapping. Where is the problem in trying to map them, bring them into the formal sphere and also give minimum rights to teachers over there. If there are women teachers, they did not even have the right to have maternity leave, my friend. So this is not only about unrecognized madrasas, it is also about giving women their rights. Why are you overlooking our women's rights in the minority community don't really matter to the Congress party, because we know what happened in 1989.
Navika, now this UP government, its education sector is in a pathetic condition. We all know the teacher recruitment scam, where more than 2,400 teachers were accused of having fake degrees. We know that more than hundreds of schools have been declared illegal. Out of 21 fake universities, 4 universities are in UP. And apart from this, we have seen that there was a teacher who was withdrawing 1 crore salary from UP schools, and it was not even within the reach of the state administration. The point is, if UP is really serious about reforming the education sector, it should begin with its schools first. Secondly, the Yogi government recently in May came out and it accepted a law that it will stop all forms of grants to madrasas. Now, this is hypocrisy. At one point of time, you're talking about modernizing of madrasas. At another point of time, to talk about you are stopping the grants to madrasas. If really the Yogi government wants to bring about any form of reform in modernizing the madrasas, the grants have to be increased. But look at the condition of UP.
बस पैसा बोलता है, पैसा चाहिए पैसा. Not worried about education, not worried about anything. पैसा दे दो, बाकी चुप रहो. Mohandas Pai, do you agree? Do you agree that start with schools, don't start with madrasas? Appeasement number 1. And if you want to ask us questions, give us money. Put money on the table.
Navika, it shows the mentality of these people who have kept the Muslim community backward in this country for 75 years. Because they want their votes, they don't want them educated. The issue here in the debate is very simple. UP government wants to do a full survey based on NCPR.
So the UP government has the worst ranking of schools in India. It has the worst education performance across all the states. How can you expect such a state to reform madrasa education? First, reform your own home first. At least have your universities in place, schools in place.
Please tell this guy to keep quiet.
Lokesh Jindal, listen to knowledgeable people. It's not a bad idea to do that. Yes.
Navika, it is based on NCPCR, report. Let the government do a survey. Let the government come to a decision. If these people don't take the government decision, let them go to court. The law is very clear. Nobody is posting anything. If you say you must not even make a survey, this is ridiculous. This is the way these people
Absolutely. Ishkaran Bhandari raising his hand. I'm coming to you, Mr. Kanungo. Ishkaran, 30 seconds.
Navika ji, exactly 30 seconds. What is the survey going to do? It is going to see whether students have facilities of drinking water, furniture, electricity, toilet. What is the accommodation in which they are being taught? Is the building safe? Is the building unsafe? I cannot believe in modern India on national television, people are opposing a survey by government of these basic facilities which have not been covered. It is shocking to oppose drinking water, toilet for students, which the government after survey may come to any decision.
So when the Yogi government passes a resolution to stop the funds to madrasas, how can you expect?
Let they need to survey.
Mr. Kanungo, I just want to ask you, private schools, madrasas who are not aided, can you please explain to these very learned people, do they have complete freedom? Do they not come under the constitution or the administration of the state government? Are they just free individuals that can float around in the atmosphere as if nobody can ask them any questions? Why don't you explain to them? Because they keep talking about the fact कि ग्रांट तो दे नहीं रहे हैं, रेजोल्यूशन पास कर दिया, तो सवाल क्यों पूछ रहे हैं?
देखिए, मैं आपको यहाँ एक बात स्पष्ट कर दूं कि ग्रांट की बात तो तब आती है जब कोई ग्रांट मांगने आएगा. मैंने आपको बताया जैसे कि कोई 200 करोड़ रुपए के आसपास खर्च होता है, मदरसा ग्रांट मांगने आते नहीं हैं क्योंकि मदरसा ग्रांट लेना नहीं चाहते. जो अनमैप्ड मदरसा हैं, मैंने सैकड़ों मदरसों में विज़िट किया है, हज़ारों मदरसा जाने वाले बच्चों से बात की है. देश के सारे मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन डोमिनेट करने वाले शहरों में जाके मीटिंग्स की हैं, तब जाके रिपोर्ट बनाई है। एक भी ऐसा मुसलमान का बच्चा मुझे नहीं मिला मदरसे में जो अमीर हो। देश के सबसे गरीब मुसलमान का बच्चा मदरसे में पढ़ता है। ये जो चैनल पे बैठे हैं, या जो ओवैसी साहब हैं, या जो मिस्टर अजमल हैं, इनके बच्चे मदरसों में नहीं पढ़ते। इनके बच्चे कॉन्वेंट्स में पढ़ते हैं, इनके बच्चे विदेशों में जाके पढ़ते हैं। देश के सबसे गरीब मुसलमान के बच्चे को ये शिक्षा से महरूम रखना चाहते हैं। दूसरी बात, जिस तरीके की एम्बिग्यूटीज़ हमको देखने को मिलती हैं, आप एक बात बताइए, ये बात आप सब जानते हैं, क्या बच्चों को पढ़ाई के नाम पे, अनुशासन के नाम पे पीटा जा सकता है? बच्चों को पीटना कानून में गुनाह है, भारत में ये अपराध है। मदरसे का इंटरनल नियम जो हमको लिखा हुआ मिला, मैं आपको वो बताता हूँ। वो कहते हैं कि मदरसे के अंदर जो टीचर है वो बच्चे को एक वक्त पे 3 थप्पड़ मार सकता है, ये जायज़ है, और बच्चा चाहे तो जजमेंट डे के दिन इसका बदला ले सकता है। किस युग में ले जाना चाहते हैं बच्चों को? मैं आपको एक बात और बता दूं, आज के तारीख में सबसे ज़्यादा मदरसे जिस सिलेबस को फॉलो करते हैं वो सिलेबस औरंगज़ेब के ज़माने का बनवाया हुआ है, एकदम रेडिकल बना रहे हैं बच्चों को। तो ये सब चीज़ें देखने और समझने की ज़रूरत है। और आर्टिकल 21A बात करता है सरकार की ड्यूटी की, और आर्टिकल 28 बात करता है बालिग लोगों के, समझदार लोगों के अपने अपने इंस्ट्रक्शंस के लिए इंस्टीट्यूट्स में जाने का। बच्चों का शिक्षा का अधिकार आप ना आर्टिकल 28 से छीन पाएंगे, ना आर्टिकल 29 से छीन पाएंगे, ना आर्टिकल 30 से छीन पाएंगे। अंबेडकर जी, मुझे शर्म आती है आपके ऊपर। बाबा साहब अंबेडकर ने कहा, शिक्षा वो शेरनी का दूध है, इसे जो पिएगा वो दहाड़ेगा। इस कम्युनिटी के जो लीडर्स हैं उनको ये डर लगता है कि अगर ये बच्चे शेरनी का दूध पी के दहाड़ने लगे तो वो इनसे अपना हक मांगेंगे। सारी लड़ाई इस बात की है।
बिल्कुल। और आपने कानूंगो साहब जो कहा, शायद ये सच्चाई है जिसे कोई देखना नहीं चाहता। और मैं आप ही की रिपोर्ट से एक एक्सर्प्ट पढ़ना चाहती हूँ, जिसमें मदरसा के स्टूडेंट्स कह रहे हैं कि मदरसा में टीचर्स नहीं हैं। They don't teach us Hindi, English, Maths, Science or Social Studies. In fact, Nusrat Jahan, who studies in 7th standard, wants to join the police force in future, but she doesn't think she gets education for that. Education in madrasa should include all of these, says Nusrat Jahan. Also, Nuzat Fama, she says teachers should be appointed compulsorily for English. We do not get teachers for computer skills, internet and general knowledge in madrasas. And in Jaunpur, Uttar Pradesh, there are teachers who say there are children who want to learn computers, but we have no teacher for that. There are no teachers for subjects of science, social studies, etc. There are 25,000 teachers who have not received their wages for the last 3 to 4 years. This is the state of madrasas, and yet talk about bringing them in the ambit of administration to find out what is the kind of education they are getting, and everybody is up in arms because they see it as a Chota NRC. Is this fear mongering really going to steal the future of our children? And why are they looking at these children as Muslim children? They are the future of India as well. Everybody has to care for them. Mr. Owaisi, don't you agree? That's the question we are asking. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.